So if the plants is having the tallness, suppose the gene is for tallness, then what will happen? The plant cells will receive the instructions that release the more and more and more growth hormones. So that what will happen? Plant will become too much tall. That is what it will be appears like a tallness. Then we can say the prosody or the phenotype of a prosody will be a tall. Now, same way, if it is containing, if the plant has the gene which is set for the dwarfness, then the plant cells will not release much growth hormone because they will never get the instructions to release, so that it will be a normal. So the less plant growth hormones will be produced, due to which the plant will grow only less. So due to that remains the plant is appears to be short, so that we can say it is the dwarf plant. So that is how the plants, either it will be a tall or dwarf, will be decided by a particular gene which is present inside them. Now, the same thing, let us comes to the humans so that you can understand more better. Now, let us consider the animals or humans if we take. So, it is also transmitted from the parents through the genes by the process of sexual reproduction. Now, let us take the transmission of color of hair, because this is the one of the noticeable change which we can see from our parents to us. Even you can compare. Now, the transmission of color of hair from the parents to the child, let us discuss in our humans. So if we'll take father and as well as mother, now from them to the child. So now father is having maybe some different kind of hair, maybe it's a curly hair or maybe a soft silk hair or something. And mother is having some other thing, black hair or light pale yellow hair. Let us discuss that, how it will be happening. Now, before we do that, please remember, always let us consider a black hair is a phenotype which is produced by either it is considered as a dominant one. So I am saying that black hair is having somebody's and another one is having a blonde hair, that is what we will say pale yellow hair, pale yellow hair. Okay, so now black hair, what is the genotype responsible? I'm saying it is a dominant one. So can you tell me what is that? Anyone? Genotype dominant? Yes, please. It is a dominant, I'm saying. What is the genotype? Everybody, please. Sai, Rose, what is the genotype responsible? I'm saying black hair. So let me take genotype is capital A. You can say capital A. Capital H, capital H. Or we can say what? Capital H.
Capital H.
Small h.
Small h. Very good. So either it is responsible for both capital H, or maybe a capital H, small h. Now, blonde hair, or we will say pale yellow hair. Then tell me what is the genotype present. If this is the dominant.
Small h.
Small h, small h.
Recessive. So now, so this blood, what is the genotype responsible? Everybody. The genotype responsible here
Small
is
h, small h.
small h. Okay. So now let us give the examples now so that you people will understand very clearly. Now let us check mother cells, as we know that they contains two dominant genes which is responsible for black hair. So what is that? So they are saying that this is the from the mothers. So from the mother, they are having a two genes is responsible for the black one. So what is that? Either it may be a capital H, or maybe a capital H and small h. And the father is having a blonde hair or pale yellow hair, which is responsible. Who is responsible? Small h and small h. Now, let us see how the baby, what is the color of the their baby or their offsprings when they obtain the new organisms from their family. So now if you notice it, you can see that three figures I'm showing here: mother, father, and their progeny, or we will say a baby. Now, mother has a black hair, and the father has blood hair, or pale yellow hair, and you can see child is also having, what is the color of the child? You can see that hair color. What is the color of the child hair? Which is also having the black hair only. Is it yes or no, guys? Please respond. Now, let us see that how this transmission of genes for hair color from mother and father to the child will take place. So now, let us consider, as we know, mother is having a genotype. Either it may be a capital H or capital H, or we will say what?
Capital H, small h.
H. Now let us consider it is a capital H and capital H, which is responsible for what hair, guys? Which is responsible for what hair? Black hair. Is it yes or no? Now you can see that both genes are what genes? They are capital letter. Both are capital. Means they are dominant genes or recessive genes?
Dominant.
They are a dominant genes. So the mother has black hair. Next, father cells contains two genes. So what is the two genes present? Small h and small
Small
h.
h, small h.
Both are blonde hair. So these are both basically are
Recessive.
gene. So that the father has blonde hair or pale yellow hair. Now, if this both, so he is having a blonde hair. Now, this both will involve in the sexual reproduction. So they used to during this process of reproduction. So now mother will transmit one gene. Can you tell me what is the gene mother will transmit? All of you.
Capital H.
So mother will transmit one gene. Means what? Only one H will come from the mother. Understanding? Any one gene only during the sexual reproduction transmission. One H will come. So let me consider one. Now, father also will transmit one H. That is what H. Do you understand, everybody? Please respond. Yes, please. So father, one gene will come, and mother, another gene will come. And if we get to the progeny, they will form a pair of gene. So a mother transmit one of the dominant gene, that is what capital H, and father will transmit one of his recessive gene, that is what small h. So due to this, the child has a genotype. What is the genotype of child? Everybody. Genotype, anyone? So the genotype of child is what, guys? Please respond. Capital H and
Capital H,
Small h.
small.
tell me. So one, at least one capital H we have, means in the sense of what is the color of the baby will get. Now, please,
Black color.
then she will get definitely a black color only. Why she will get the black color? Because H is a what?
Dominant one.
Dominant one. So a baby will obtain the color of a mother's hair only, as she is having a dominant gene. So the gene H, which is responsible for capital H, is responsible for black hair, but the small h is what will happen? It cannot be here because it is the what gene? Recessive gene. Is it yes or no, guys? Yes. But if you notice it, suppose this baby will be in the future, next offsprings or next offsprings. If this girl will donate a small h, understanding, and her husband will also will donate the small h, then definitely their progeny, what is the color they will obtain? The progeny, they will obtain the small h and small h, which is the color of, what is the color of this one? Small h and small h, which is the color of
Blonde.
or pale yellow. That is what one of the example, one of the sum we solved in yesterday's offline class. So the dominant gene H for black hair, due to that effect, the child has black hair only here. But the recessive gene H, which is responsible for blood hair, cannot shows his effect in the presence of dominant gene capital H. That is why the baby always will get her hair is appears to be black color. The same way like this, Your gene, suppose you are having curly hair, you are having a too dark hair or light brown hair or whatever it is, everything is responsible for because of your genes. Maybe you can see somebody of your friends, even me also, we are getting the white hair at the early ages itself. That is also responsible through the genes only nowadays. It is not because of the food what we are eating and all. So the genetical changes during the sexual reproduction, the variations is maximum so that it may cause us drastic difference in any people or any offsprings, means coming generations. So that is why inheritance of these genes will decide the genotype and as well as phenotype of the organism. So that is why a dominant, which will dominate the other gene, which will not make the effect of second gene to show in its progeny. So that is what we used to say dominant gene, and which is another one present. That is what we used to say recessive gene. So that is how the hair color, whatever the characteristic we are seeing from our parents to us. Now, if you compare your parents to you and some or else anybody, any organism, we can see this only these characteristics or whatever it is because of transmitting of genes during the sexual reproduction in any kind of animals. Now, same way like you can see blood groups also, how these blood groups are inherited. That is also we can discuss. As we can hear, every human beings having a same same color of blood, but the cells present inside the blood group which is entirely different from the person. Even we might be even not having the same blood group of your parents and you also. That is what. But genes are same. The genetical DNA is same, but the group of blood is not same. So let us discuss how this inheritance of blood groups by the children from their parents will take place. So the gene which will controls the blood group is always represented by capital I. Please all of you remember that. So what is the letter we are representing to represent the blood group? You can see in our NCRT. NCRT in text questions you will be finding. In text questions you will find this about this blood group. Okay, so please all of you see that. So what is the letter responsible for the blood group? Everybody, Joel, I.
Yeah.
Capital I is the responsible for the genotype. Sorry, that gene which will represent the blood group. Now, this gene has three different forms. Please remember that. So the same gene which will be having three different forms. So that is what we will say that alleles. So alleles means the same gene existed in three different forms. That is what we used to say alleles. So now, what is this alleles of this gene of this what? Blood group. Blood groups is I power M. Remember that. I power A, next I B, and as well as I O. So these are the three alleles of blood group, three different forms of genes of same blood group which will represent. Okay, so that is what you have to superscript. Superscript will say this one. Subscript, superscript. IA, IB, and IO. So which are represented like this. These are the three different forms of gene, blood group gene. Now let us discuss how these blood groups are inherited for each from parents to the children. Okay, that is what Rudreshwar it will come. IA, IB, that is what it will be. Understand, Rudreshwar?
Sir, AB group also said,
Come, I will
sir.
explain that is also. Listen, just wait. Okay, understand? So how it will be coming? Say some rare blood groups also nowadays you can see that some of the rare blood groups also taking place. So that is what because of genetical changes and all. So even one person out of 1 lakh or 1 crore, some rarest blood groups are finding even in first time. That's I think one of the different blood group found in our India only, Mumbai. So how blood groups are inherited from parents to the progeny or children. So let us discuss. So it's not only in humans, animals also having these blood groups. Okay, but will represent with the different notations. But always the gene which will controls the blood group is represented by I only. Now, if you take a person, basically like 99%, a person has one of the four blood groups. It may be a blood group. See, positive, negative is secondary because for class 10, we don't have anything positive or negative or not. Only the basic thing we have. So totally, we'll be having a four major four blood groups we are seeing in our surroundings. So in that, one is A, blood group A, or maybe blood group B, or maybe blood group AB, or it is blood group O. But in this, you might be heard A positive, A negative, same way B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, same way O positive, O negative, like that. That is all you will study in 12th class because by the time you'll get all the things. What is that? Even because we're having a 12th class lab practical also. They will give you the samples and we have to find the blood group of a given person perfectly. So it will be like even 700 rupees, I think that samples. We people can also will do it. Just around 700 rupees of samples. 3 samples they will give. So and they'll give some slides and all. So we people can do that. Even I have been done when I'm in intermediate PUC. So totally we'll be finding the four different groups in majorly in our surroundings. That is what either A or B or AB or O. Now this blood group system, if you'll notice, is controlled by a gene which has three different forms, which we already denoted either IA, IB, and as well as IO. So remember here, the IA and IB showed no dominance over each other. That is why there we will say co-dominant. IA and IB no dominant each other. That is why we will say them as co-dominant. Again, I'm saying. But if we'll take IA and IB, both are dominant over the gene of IO. Do you understand, everyone? If we'll take IA and IB, both are friends. They will never dominate each other. That is why they are co-dominant. But if we take IA with IO or IB with IO, we will get definitely they will dominate the IO. So that is what you have to remember. So based upon this, we can say IA and IB are dominant gene and IO is what, guys? Anybody? IO is
Recessive.
IO is the
Recessive.
recessive. That is what you have to understand. So recessive in relation when to the genes of IA and IB. So whenever IO is in a relation with the IA and IB, definitely it is the recessive gene. So that is what you have to understand. So now let us say now there are three different genes forms. That is what alleles for blood, but one person can have only two of them. It's not the three possible. Any either he might be having IA, IB, or he may be having IA, IO, or may be having IB, IO. So that is what you have to remember. So the person having only any two of them only, it is possible. So the blood group of a person, depending on which the two forms of genes he is having, or he might be having IO and IO also. So that is what you have to remember, guys. So let us discuss what is these things will be having. Or else he might be having IA and IA also, and IB and IB also. So that is also possibilities are there. So always any two only it is possible. Now if we take, if the person having a genotype, first one, if a person is having a genotype which is having IA and IA, are you understand, everybody? Then what is the person's blood group? Anybody can tell me? What is the blood group of a person?
A.
Yes, please. What is the blood group? Blood group of a person will be A. Do you understand, everyone? Please respond.
Yes.
Now, a person is having a genotype of IA and IO. Can you tell me what is the blood group of a person?
A.
Then also A only, because why? IO is the, what is the gene?
Recessive.
Recessive. If you are speaking only, you will understand. This is the simplest concept where you will never face any difficulty. I know that, but still you are not answering. I cannot do anything. So that is what. Next, second one. Second one, IB and IB. The genotype is IB and IB. Then what is the blood group will come? Anybody?
B. B.
So the blood group will appears to be in the person is B. Or what is another possibility? All of you. IB and IO.
IO.
Then also the blood group is what? B only.
B.
Because IO is the what?
Recessive.
Recessive.
That is what you have to remember. Next, third one. The genotype is IA and IB. Now tell me, what is the blood group?
IAB. AB.
AB, because both are co-dominant. Understanding? Co-dominant. They will never show that their dominance over each other. So that is why the blood group of a person, which is represented by what, guys? Please respond.
AB.
AB. So that is what you have to remember. So the blood group of a person is AB. Next, if the person is having IO and IO, the genotype is IO and IO, then the person of blood group are both recessive. Both recessive. So that the person will be having what, guys?
O.
O is the blood group of a person. Are you clear, all of you? So this is how the blood group of a person will decides based upon these three alleles of the genes, three different forms of gene. That is what you have to remember. Is it okay, guys? Please respond. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is what, how the blood groups are inherited in the progenies from the parents. So whatever it is, again, if the father will donate IA, if mother will donate IO, then definitely the baby will get what? A, blood group A. If both father and mother will donate IB and IB, then the baby also will get B. Like that, these are the possible cases. That is what you have to remember in our mind always. So IA, IB, AB. Or IA, IO, A. IB, IO, B. IO, O. IA, A. IB, A. That's all. So like that you can remember. So this is all about it. So now blood groups is also over. Then tomorrow's class, sex determination is the final one. Once it is over, the syllabus also over. But one concept is little important, even though it is in the deleted syllabus. That is what the concept you should remember: acquired and inherited traits. So that is alone just for name normally, because there also will get the characteristics of like hair color, nose, eyes, and all. So that is what just that alone we will study after this. Okay. So thank you, everybody. With this, I will stop and we'll continue from here in the next class. Everybody, thank you all the best for your exam.